These are wild horses, and they're gonna take them and sell them. To me, that's fucking bullshit. Leave those horses alone.
Here, the
Let them grow wild.
have moved the horses from Azateek Island to Chincoteague Island, where they'd be rounded up. They'll rest here for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then they will march down the main street into the corrals, and that's where they go the auction. This is the 99th annual event, which means it happens once per year.
This is where all our jobs have gone to illegal. So I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that is why, as Bernie Sanders said in 2014, before he got the woke mind virus, that open borders is a billionaire scheme. He called it a Koch brothers scheme. It's to drive wages down and undermine unions.
Because it is. It was a Republican invention, the sanctuary city. They love that idea. And that's why it was a Koch brother. Here, if you're a dumb shit liberal, hold Koch brothers are bad in your head. And now remember that that's their thing they want. Imbeciles.
So here's
you have to qualify this.
So there's the construction site. 8 out of 43 guys showed up for work due to the immigration checkpoints and raids.
Of course. Were people going to?
I know lawyers are going to be pissed off at me.
Company?
8
So
out of
my people come first.
Right? Like
Canadians come first, not foreigners. Foreigners are welcome here, but Canadians should have a job first. I have 2 nephews. I have more than 2 nephews.
The buses of illegal military-age men coming in, that was a Catholic NGO. Okay, so this isn't just like people sneaking in for a better life. This was on purpose. That's why they're being so fast getting criminals out, because they purposely let them in.
Hey guys, so if y'all think that the people are fear-mongering about food and our communities running out of food and there being a big balloon and there being economic problems, this is in Central Illinois. This factory, which is next door to my home, is the Bimbo Bakery factory, and next door to it is 2 more factories, and then across the street is another factory. This parking lot should be full. This factory runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is 5:30.
And that exhaust there is just ventilation.
That's just the ventilation. This would typically
There should
be
be
full.
there should be a huge smoke column somewhere right around here going that way with the production oven.
And if you look at that parking lot, it is empty. This is shift change. It is the middle of shift change. And the entrance to the parking lot is right there. And this is our only street in and out of town to get over there. And as you can see, there are no cars. So this is our bakery, Bimbo Bakery. They make things like the English muffins. So expect there to be a fucking problem when it comes down to our food in the next upcoming months.
Oh no, the slaves aren't there. How will I get my food?
So the same people who scream about raising the minimum wage, and I'm one of those people. I'm all for raising the minimum wage. You know me, I'm a lefty. Because the minimum rate, when you raise the minimum wage, it actually helps the economy. People think it does the opposite. It forces people out of business. It doesn't. It actually has the opposite.
I figured it out, Jimmy, 20 years ago when every time they had this argument and raised it, it was fine. That's when I put it together.
Yeah. Every time they raise the minimum wage, actually, I know the president of Wetzel Pretzels said, yeah, I used to be against it. He goes, but now every time they do it, my business goes up. Yeah, because people have more money in their pockets and it increases them. So anyway, it's actually not bad for the economy. So I'm for that. But the same people, so a lot of those same people, not me, a lot of the same people who scream you got to raise the minimum wage also are upset that we don't have enough slave labor. They're like, oh my God, who's going to pick your fruit? Who's going to, remember Ozzy Osbourne's daughter? Who's going to clean your toilets? Who's going to do this? So you want,
she sounded like an Episcopalian lesbian bishop talking to Trump.
Yeah. So you want,
Please
want,
don't free the slaves.
So you want people here who are vulnerable to the capitalists. You want them here so they can be exploited. But at the same time, you want to raise the minimum wage. But you're upset that someone's getting rid of the people who are being exploited. Because that's what that is. Why do you think they're hiring all the illegal aliens? Because they're being exploited.
If it causes an English muffin shortage, shouldn't that tell you wow, the scale of the utter corruption and problem is so big, we're not going to have English muffins for a few weeks. That must be a really big problem. I'm glad it's getting taken care of. That guy Bukele did it, and their GDP, which is not even the thing that I would hinge everything on, went up from doing that.
But
Yeah.
and this person makes a great point. The argument will always be Americans don't want to do this work. Really? Factory work in a bakery? Construction jobs? Americans don't want to do those jobs? Working in slaughterhouses? Really? Meat packing? They don't want to work there? Really?
How do we build anything in this country before we... all the people got out here like, I don't want to do any of the jobs. You mean they want to be paid properly?
So this person says, no, it's that Americans don't want to work for a third of what their grandparents earned in real dollars in their own country. Is that wrong?
Jimmy, I want to just point this out.
That is 3,000 likes.
Do you know how bad things have gotten? Here's the thing that really hit home for me, how bad things got when I was watching the Bill Burr and Billy Pumpkin's brother get together. And I went, my God, back in the day, you could be a guy who has a wife and family in a house, and they'll go get another secret wife and family in another house,
Yes.
and supported by being a traveling musician. That's how far, now no one can have any house.
Right.
You ever hear anybody going to jail for bigamy ever?
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
girlfriend never even heard of that term.
Blue collar people having two families, secret. So
Like they're
here's
CIA, they got two families. No one can afford to do that.
Bimbo owns Hostess, Sara Lee, and Entenmann's. So that, remember she said this is Bimbo Bakery? Bimbo owns Hostess, Sara Lee, and Entenmann's as well. How much of the labor force has been illegal immigrants all this time?
Yeah, well, yeah.
These businesses need to be prosecuted. This is not an accident. They lobby to keep immigration work visas scarce so that they have a cheap and compliant workforce that can organize.
Okay, Purdue, they paid Purdue to do this, recall, with tax incentives to fire the American workforce and bring in illegals less money. That was incentivized by the government to them. So the way a business views that is, I have to do it, much like the H-1B thing. You have to do it. You cannot do it because it's business now. So the state is doing that on purpose. They're creating perverse incentives for gain of function research, replacing the jobs, all kinds of crazy shit.
So
Killer AI.
I love this is not an accident. They lobby to keep immigration work visas scarce so that they have a cheap and compliant workforce they can compel through fear. Shame on anyone who wants to keep this system in place. Revise the laws. Yes, but do not say we need to support human trafficking in order to preserve our junk food habits.
So the cocaine I did back in the early 2000s was more humane and fair trade than any Twinkies. Is
Yeah.
what I'm picking up from this.
So, I'm pro-immigration. I'm pro-immigrant. Nobody wants to kick anybody out of this country who's been here for 20 years and raised a family and provided for their kids. That's not what this is about. This is about in the last few years, they have flooded this country because the labor market got tight and unions started to catch on. Amazon was able to organize a union. People at Starbucks were able to form a union. That's what this is about. They're afraid of American workers getting power. In the middle of the biggest income disparity in the world, Jeff Bezos has a yacht bigger than a football field. So does Mark Zuckerberg. Bigger than a football field. These people who lecture you about climate change have yachts with 4 gigantic diesel engines in them. A yacht. You know, Jeff Bezos' yacht is so big, it comes with a support yacht